everyone, and welcome back to LewisNews, your #1 YouTube channel for all types of Spider-Man news. And in today's video, we're going to be breaking down that Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse trailer. If you have not seen my reaction, I'll leave it in the description down below where you can go watch that. But with that out of the way, let's get straight into the breakdown. So it was an awesome trailer, as you guys do know. But first of all, we started with a shot of Miles and Gwen just to start out the trailer, and then a shot of Peter with Miles and Gwen standing with Spider-Man 2099, although his suit is a purple and yellow, which I thought was quite odd. Make sure to stay tuned because we'll come back to this shot later on in the trailer, and there's some interesting theories attached to why his suit might be yellow and purple. We then get a shot of Miles traveling through the multiverse. Now, this scene will most likely take place before he goes to that spider headquarters where all the Spider-Men and women are. It's just more stuff that we've seen before. We then come on to the actual trailer where we see Miles talking to Rio about the way he lives his life, and basically Rio saying that she doesn't really see him before, and that's probably because Miles is always Spider-Man and he's out doing Spider-Man stuff, and it's intertwined with shots from Into the Spider-Verse, reminding us of the events of that film. We then get a cool sequence from present day where Miles catches a car mid-air, Spider-Man 2 style. I thought that was really cool, and once again the animation is absolutely on point. Something worth noting is this shot from the first look. Now, obviously, it's been reanimated, and in this shot, Gwen is actually wearing a jacket over her suit, and she wasn't in the first look. So I think this tells me that there is still stuff that they're working on, and in this trailer, there are most likely unfinished shots and stuff that won't be in the final film, so make sure to keep that in mind, because this is just one example of probably many when it comes to the final cut of the film. Now, let's move on to the most interesting part of this trailer, which is trying to figure out who these Spider-Men and women are. There are absolutely hundreds of them. Now, I want to put a disclaimer out. I can't tell you who every single one of these suits belongs to, but I do want to say that a lot of these suits are most likely going to be original to the film itself, as in we've never actually seen them before, the same way in which the Spider-Man Miles Morales game designed brand new suits for Miles Morales, since Miles doesn't have that many suit variants from the comics the same way Peter Parker does. So in the same sort of vein and in the same sort of way, I think the same thing has happened here, where a bunch of original suits have been created for these scenes. But here are the ones that I can pick out. In one of the very first frames, if you look up on the ceiling above Miles and Gwen, you can see what looks like the Velocity suit Spider-Man. Now, the suit was made popular by Spider-Man PS4, but it looks like it's going to be appearing in this film as well. And on the right, it looks like an ultimate version of Jessica Drew. If you guys know the ultimate Jessica Drew suit from the Ultimate Marvel comics, it looks similar to that. Obviously, she doesn't have the hair here, and this might not even be a woman, but it looks similar. And then obviously the suit that most people are going to be raving over, which is the Marvel Spider-Man Peter Parker suit. No sign of Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales, however, and that's one interesting thing I do want to point out, is that we haven't actually seen a Miles Morales variant, and I'll come on to that a little bit later and in future videos as well, about how Miles Morales is potentially the only version of Miles across the entire multiverse, and how that might actually end up impacting the story as well. And standing with the PS4 Spider-Man is Superior Spider-Man. And on the left, I'm pretty sure this is a original suit, but it looks like the Spider Armor Mark 1 mixed with the new Spider-Man suit that we got in the comics around a year ago now, which caused a lot of controversy in the fandom. Right here, you can see the new symbiote suit from the Marvel Spider-Man TV show, which was that green tinted white and black symbiote suit. Now, I don't know if this is the exact one, but it looks very, very similar to it. And here you can see Spider Armor Mark 2. You can also see Steampunk Spider-Man here as well. You can also see some kind of cop variation of Spider-Man. You can see some variation on the bottom left of the Iron Spider suit. I don't know whether this is actually Iron Spider, but it looks very close to Iron Spider. You can see Amazing Bagman here as well. You can also see Werewolf Spider-Man up on the top right. And down here, once again, you can see another symbiote Marvel Spider-Man TV show suit. Once again, it might not be the symbiote suit from the TV show, but it looks very, very similar. And like I said, there are also a lot of other original designs, but from the ones that I can see, those are the ones that I can point out to you. Then we move on to more trailer stuff. We get a shot of Miles and Gwen. We also get reintroduced to Peter B. Parker. And the most interesting thing about this is that he's got a baby harness on, which means him and Mary Jane got back together in his universe and ended up having a child, which I think is really, really interesting. And once again, we'll come back to this later in the trailer. We obviously get that shot that was given to us on Twitter to tease that the trailer was coming out, obviously hinting at Miles and Gwen romance as they bump shoulders. And then we get introduced to probably one of the more influential characters in this movie, which is Jessica Drew on a bike. And I'm going to be really honest, I really love this Jessica Drew design. I love how these films spice up the original character designs and give them a fresh look and a fresh take. And I really love this Jessica Drew design. She is also fighting a variant of the Vulture. Now, whether this Vulture is from her Earth, Miguel's Earth, Miles' Earth, we don't actually know. But we can confirm she is fighting a version of the Vulture. Then we get Spider-Man 2099 at the top of this tower, looking all menacing, with Miles and Gwen looking up to him. And Miguel is definitely portrayed as more of a villain in this trailer, which I think is more interesting. And obviously this shot probably represents how Miguel has the power over Miles and Gwen at the earlier stages in the movie. We also then get a shot of Miguel looking at a file, which has the title Gabriella. And the picture, we assume it is of Gabriella and looks like Miguel O'Hara as well. So this one shot here could inform a lot of motivation about Miguel's character in this film. And from the way that the trailer is hooked up, I'm willing to bet that whatever Miguel is mad at Miles for and the rest of the Spider team has something to do with either the missing case of Gabriella or even the death of Gabriella. And Miguel O'Hara in this trailer, as we'll come to see, looks very bitter, looks very rough and very run down. So I think possibly he might be looking for his child or might be out for vengeance. Now, like I said, this motive is most likely linked to why Miguel and the rest of the team go after Miles in the first place. However, what I think is most interesting is that Phil Lord only yesterday came out and said that Miles and the Spot, which is the main villain for Across the Spider-Verse, are connected in more ways than you could imagine. Which I think cements the theory that the Spot's creation must have had something to do with either a Miles Morales variant or Miles Morales himself. Which is something we will probably find out as a twist near to the end of the film. But obviously something that informs Miguel O'Hara and the rest of the Spider team to go after Miles Morales at this point in the film. We also get a shot of Miguel and Jessica Drew about to transcend the multiverse. And then going back to this shot that we saw at the start of the trailer, we can once again see the purple and yellow Miguel O'Hara suit, but we can also see Peter Parker with his child in his harness. Now, this child is most likely Mayday Parker because that is who Peter Parker's child is in the comics. And Peter would most likely never bring his child away with him on a dangerous mission, which gives us the inkling that he was most likely pulled into this situation against his own will. He most likely probably wanted to settle down with Mary Jane in his universe, but then got pulled back into the multiverse, probably by Spider-Gwen. But the question is, why is Miguel O'Hara's suit purple and yellow? Well, we know Spider-Man 2099 is obviously from the future, and we know that Miguel O'Hara does use a little bit more tech than other Spider-Men, so it's totally possible that his suit can change colors to adapt to his environment. However, it's not out of the question that we are getting different variants of various different Spider-Men, that this could actually be a variant of Miguel O'Hara. Potentially a version of Miguel that is willing to help Miles, Gwen, and Peter, obviously since the other Miguel is depicted to be more of a villain in this trailer. But yeah, those are just a few theories that come to the yellow and purple suit change. And then we move back onto the crazy sequence of all the Spider-Men and women chasing down Miles. So let's try and break this down. Once again, some of these probably are original suits, so I won't be able to figure out all of them. We can see Superior Spider-Man on the left straight away. We can see Scarlet Spider-Man coming at the top. We can also see Mark 1 Spider-Man armor coming on the left, and the Spider Armor Mark 3 coming on the right. We can also see Random Guy Spider-Man coming from the top, which is literally just a random dude dressed in normal clothes in a Spider-Man mask. We can then also see in the middle here a Far From Home PS4 mixed original suit. Now, whether they haven't actually finished coloring this suit in for this shot, like I said before, some of these definitely aren't going to be the final shot, then this does look like it could potentially be an original suit, an amalgamation of the Far From Home and the PS4 suit. We also then see what looks like the Jessica Drew from the Ultimate Comics, like I mentioned before. This suit looks a 1-for-1 for the Jessica Drew suit from the Ultimate Comics. However, she doesn't actually have the hair, and I don't even know if it's a woman, so it might not be Jessica Drew from the Ultimate Comics. We also do then see Kane on the left as well, which if you don't know, like Ben Reilly, is another clone of Peter Parker from the 616 universe. We also then do see Jessica Drew at the bottom, or what looks like maybe a variant of Jessica Drew because her hair seems a little bit different as well. And up the top, we do see Spider-Monkey, which I think is pretty funny. We then move back to some trailer shots. Miles is inside a giant spider building some kind of webbing around him, which I think is really weird. And I think this might be a device for him to be protected from all the different Spider-Men and women coming after him, because obviously he can't run forever, so he's going to have to protect himself. We then have Miguel obviously trying to stop whatever this is, charging very menacingly at Miles. I do say that. He looks battle damaged and bruised, so by this point, him and Miles have probably already had their first fight. And then we move back to Miles getting chased by different Spider-Men and women, and there's a few more to point out here. We get Scarlet Spider again, Ben Reilly. We also get Spider-Man Unlimited, which I think is a really cool addition, since he is an exclusive version of Spider-Man from a 90s show. I think it's really cool that we get to see him. We also get to see Bagman again. We get to see Manga Spider-Man again. And we also get to see Gorilla Spider-Man, which I think is really funny. We then get a shot of Gwen saying that she thought they were the good guys, and because of the flashes on the screen, I think this takes place during that fight scene or that chase scene with Miguel and the rest of the Spider-Men. Like Miles, I don't think Gwen is privy to the information of why they're all chasing after him, so I think this is probably her talking to Miguel saying, look, we're the good guys, why are you trying to chase Miles down? She is probably as confused as anybody. But I think what's interesting is we see Gwen's old suit in this shot here. Obviously, she now has the Converse, and she actually has a little bit of a suit design, but this is the exact same suit that she wore from Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. So could this be a flashback? Did her old suit get destroyed? We just don't know. We then see Miguel transcending some kind of city system. This is most likely in his universe because it looks like one of those overhead city fly zones from the 2099 universe. And it says on this band above him, City Limit in Spanish. And there's something of an unfinished shot here as well, which is really weird because it says this text on the right and it's kind of boarded off like a storyboard. So whether this is an unfinished shot or just a simple reference to creating a comic book, I don't know, but I think this was interesting to point out as well. Like I said before, obviously some shots aren't going to be finished, so maybe this is one of them. And then we end on a fight scene between Miles and Miguel. Miguel has laser webs, which I think is really cool. And we get to see Miles' suit ripped, which I think looks really awesome. But apart from that, that is it for the Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse trailer. If you enjoyed my breakdown and if you enjoyed me breaking down all the different Spider-Men and women that we could find in those 3 sequences in the trailer, make sure to like, and if you found any more that you think are interesting, make sure to comment down below. Make sure to subscribe for all types of Spider-Man news and breakdowns. We cover everything on the channel, from the games, the movies, and the shows, so make sure you're subscribed so you can be in the loop. With that being said, thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care and peace.